TV, and I welcome our mayoral candidate, Mr. Weizhen, who is running to be mayor of Toronto. I am Partap Singh. I am also a candidate in this election. So I Mr. Tang for a open discussion on what he wants to do for Toronto, and I'll also chip in into the discussion. Mr. Tang, can you tell me what is that you want to do for Toronto? One major issue you are focusing on.
Thank you for your introduction. Thank you for inviting me. It's a pleasure to be here with you. And Toronto, everybody talk about many issues, housing, safety, transportations, and lots of issues, especially the city finance, not enough service. I think all the issues, in my opinion, is finance, money. My background is in the financial, run hedge fund myself, and worked for investor. Now, what I want to use my experience, expertise, work for the city. The city, the mayor need a background in finance and in business, not only politicians. And in the last 10 years or 20 years, the city mayor, they're only politicians. So the only mayor I liked, Mayor Lussman. His background is a businessman. He run mayor for a long time. For
North York.
in North York and the city of Toronto. He was
Before amalgamation,
yes. He was one of the longest mayor in Toronto. So Toronto need a mayor like him, or like me, right? Because last time I told everybody, the mayor has to be is executive, at least as an executive, like a company, CEO. You need, how to run business, how to make Toronto vibrate and actively in business, and how to make Toronto as international business center and financial center. Yeah. If you choose anybody, have no background in finance, in business, how can you manage this city? That's my point. And the people, actually the system have, our society have many problems these days. Everybody talk about the problem. This problem, everybody relying on the politicians, but they have no credential, they have no ability, they have no competence to fix the problem. So every time there is a debate on Toronto issues, these issues, that issues, to be honest with you, all the issue they talk about is bullshit, because they have no ability, no competence. They only talk what people want to listen. They promise people, misleading people, and get elected. After election, they forget about everybody. So my background is strong enough to lead the city, lead the financial center, lead the business activity, because I have enough experience, enough record, on the record. So I was, leading the Chinese community, and so well, so popular, and everybody was happy. So if I be mayor of Toronto, all I want to be say make people rich, make people happy. I can do that.
Okay. One thing I want to put chip in that besides being a businessman, besides being a financial wizard or having a lot of knowledge about finance, a city also needs a statesman, a statesperson, or stateswoman who can make critical decisions, irrespective of finances or irrespective of anything when certain critical decisions have to be made.
Yeah.
Because every time it cannot be a decision based on business. When
No.
you're dealing with lives of people, what is your opinion about that?
That's a good question because last time somebody said that too. Because uh, there's many issues without a business. There's policies, there's a system in place. How to make this. What you talk about the statesman, you know, you do you find any statesman in Canada? There's, last time
Yeah,
in a
mostly
couple
there
of
are
days,
there are politicians. They're
Yeah.
not statesmen.
they are not statesmen. They are not for.
They're
not
carrier
for-
politicians for
Yeah.
salaries and wages. That's
Yeah,
all.
exactly. They all their purpose, everything they do or say, the purpose is taxing you,
Yes.
want your money, control you. They say for the crisis, they make it you poor, they make poverty to control you. They say I'm going to solve the problem. Actually, they created problem.
Yeah, in my opinion, most of the politicians they are only taking it as a job because I have seen certain MPs who
Yeah.
have been member parliaments for 20 years,
Yes.
like Jimmy Carigenius.
Yeah.
He was MP for so long, even I can't remember how many terms he was MP. And after leaving parliament, he comes and runs for council.
Yeah.
So it is so surprising. People have nothing else to do in life. These politicians, they just want to keep making money.
Yeah.
And even after they get $10,000-15,000 per month pension,
Yeah.
they're still hungry.
Yeah.
But basically, I feel that they don't want to work for people. They want to work for themselves.
Exactly.
That is why you see a lot of MPs now running for mayor, MPPs running for mayor.
Yeah.
If they were not good MPs or MPPs, how can they be good mayor? So that is what is a surprising thing. Now
Yeah.
coming on to the financial aspect, I have my own angle for finances. City of Toronto, I think there's a lot of wastage in City of Toronto, and the budget in front of my eyes has gone up from $5 billion operating budget to $16 billion.
Yeah.
It means it has gone 300% in last few years, 10 years or so, or 12 years. It is unbelievable.
Yeah.
So according to them, there is a budget shortfall and all that. But I think today the budget can be operated in around 11-12 billion dollars.
Yeah.
And my take is that already people are overtaxed
Yeah.
and there is inflation. The federal government has done nothing. The country is going berserk. There's too much poverty. People don't have food.
Yeah.
And because of rising mortgage costs and all that, house prices are up. People have to be able to pay mortgage because the mortgage rates are so high. Now they're charging more rent. So rents are also out of control. So there is everything out of control.
Yeah.
And I don't think city can keep collecting more taxes from the people, keep because there is no sources for left for city.
Yeah. I know.
So my proposition is, which is a very novel one, and you have to comment on it. I'm saying city of Toronto is a very important city of Canada.
Yeah.
It is the economic capital of Canada.
Yes.
Once it is a commercial capital of Canada, it is the only city which deserves a provincial status.
Yeah.
It should be given the status of a province for budgeting.
Yeah.
So city of Toronto is contributing almost 15 to 20% towards Canada's $2.2 trillion GDP, which we contribute $330 billion per year. And same way we contribute to Canada's budget. This year's budget, Canada's budget is almost $496 billion,
Yeah.
including the debt of 50 billion which we have inherited. So we have our contribution to that is also 20%, 15 to 20%. And that is translates to about 75 to 85 billion dollars. We are contributing to 496 billion dollar Canada's budget.
Yeah.
So when we are contributing 85 billion dollars or 75 billion dollars, it's a ballpark figure. Can't we get back 30% of it for to run Toronto? We can. So I am asking that Canada, the federal government and provincial government should accord Canada's economic capital status to Toronto, allocate a permanent budget of, federal government should give 30% of what Toronto contributes to their budget, which translates to 25 billion. Provincial government should also give 30% back to Toronto, which translates to 13 billion at today's rates. So we have got about 38 to 40 billion dollars dedicated budget for Toronto. We don't have to charge taxes from people. We can slash the taxes by 3/4. We can slash all user fees, and we have got $40 billion pool. We can build housing, we can do TTC, we can address congestion, we can take care of refugees, we can do everything, and we don't have to go and beg federal government give us $2 billion for infrastructure, give us $1 billion shortfall for COVID response, for this, that. No, we are capable. What is your idea about this thing? Because I am proposing this thing, and this is a doable thing. In a lot of countries, capitals of the countries are run by federal government directly.
Yeah.
They allocate a lot of budget directly to them.
Yeah.
In Canada, it's not done. Ottawa gets a special status as a national capital region, NCR. But Toronto, which is the economic engine, we see Ontario has a budget of $206 billion today. 206. And it went up from $150 billion to $206 billion during COVID. So out of 206, I believe Toronto contributes at least 40% to Ontario's budget. So which is almost 70, 80 billion dollars. So why can't Ontario give us $13 billion back?
Yeah.
And if we have that, we can run our city magnanimously.
Yeah.
And no shortfall, everything is at risk. I want to have your opinion on that.
I think it's a good idea to declare,
Dedicate.
dedicate Toronto as a capital of Canada or Ontario. They're supposed to have their share, right?
Yes.
Toronto,
like provinces have their share.
Yeah,
every province gets a dedicated funding from the federal government, and then they raise their own money. Yeah. We are not able to raise beyond $10 billion. Our property taxes are barely 4.5, 4.8 billion.
I think even federal government or provincial government, even Toronto, tax is already to the roof.
Yes.
So there's no room to tax it. So I think the only way, your way is do not tax Torontonian.
Yeah, no, because we look after 400,000 outsiders.
The outside people, if Toronto not have more tax or tax slashed, and the other city or province could increase their tax or decrease their service, right?
No.
Because they have less money.
No, because federal government doesn't need $496 billion. Yeah. Justin Trudeau has the dedicated budget, which is legislated budget.
Yeah.
You know how much is it? Only $232 billion federally.
Yeah.
Government of Canada is only allowed to collect $232 billion from people. Rest of the budget, $198 billion, is voted budget. Voted means we need it now. And Justin Trudeau has to give donations to foreign countries, 5 billion there, 5 billion to these people, 20 billion to indigenous people, 30 billion here. That is only for distribution. That is called distribution budget. 198 billion was never planned by Parliament. The Parliament's plan was only for senior services, certain benefits and all that, healthcare and all that. The total government budget, if they had gone by the Parliament's directive, legislated budget should have been only $232 billion. But they are collecting $432 billion.
Oh, the poor more than
Yes, they are collecting to distribute money.
No.
The Liberal Party is playing games. They collect money, they distribute to their friends, they distribute everywhere because they have so much money.
Yeah.
Plus, they've got $50 billion from HST alone,
Yeah.
which was never there. That is only the GST portion.
Yeah, no,
So
no.
they have a lot of money to throw around. They for votes, they will please some section of people. They'll give 10 million to this, some religious community for anti-Semitic issues, for Islamophobia issues, for some temples, or to some other non-profit organization or something. So the Prime Minister and the federal government, the Liberal Party misuses this budget to distribute.
Yeah.
So indigenous issues are temporary because they were settlements that courts had settled, okay, pay to the indigenous people so much, you have caused so much harm to them. But those will be gone. But you will see that the budget will not decrease from $496 billion.
Okay,
It will go to 600.
Yeah.
People don't know these things. So that's what I'm saying. No, there will be no harm done to others.
Oh, okay. Because to be honest with you, I'm not big into that.
I know, I understand. Your expertise is to produce money.
Exactly.
Yeah.
To create money.
You can create money within Toronto.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, by
this is so beautiful place, so much resource. There is lots of money to be made. Because why we give the foreigner, especially U.S. company, to make lots of money from us.
Exactly.
Yeah, we the one thing, because I was in the market for so long, right? So, for so long, I figured we Canadian invest a lot of RSP or registered account, or even no registered account, to US.
Yes, all our accounts are in US.
Lots of people want to invest in US to get good return. Yes. I think maybe 60 or 70% of the investment went to US.
80%, 90%.
Even
my accounts are in US.
Yeah,
nobody believes the Canadian market.
I don't trade a US market, a Canadian market.
Yes.
I never trade. I only traded 1% of Canadian market. So the TSX or Canadian market, it's a very small percentage of investment Canadians. So we can attract a lot of Canadian investor come back, or international investor come back. There are lots of money, billions of dollars to be made. So I never think about the tax. The tax is the problem.
Yes.
Actually, it's the problem for citizens.
Yes.
Because everybody think it's the solution, because everybody think that the government use the tax to help.
No. They are controlling people. Our idea of direct democracy, the party which I lead,
Yeah.
idea is not to tax people.
Yeah, exactly.
If we can eradicate this disease,
Yeah.
because tax is what gives control to the government over people.
Yeah. Right.
So I want a flat tax for all small businesses, nothing more than $5,000 per year. They don't have to file papers, they don't have to do anything.
Yeah.
Any small business starts, they know the cost of doing business in Canada is $5,000 per year. Simple. Let them make money, let them grow.
Yeah.
And that is how it is. What I'm saying is, we are not saying that Toronto will always get a $40 billion budget from provincial and federal. If they decrease their budget, our share will also decrease commensurately. But they are overspending.
Exactly.
Federal government is living beyond means. Provincial government living beyond means.
Yeah.
Every time there is some discrepancy, the healthcare system is the worst in Canada, and they praise it.
Yeah.
Now, every time they cry, the hospitals and they say, oh, we need more funding.
Yeah.
They don't see where the funding is going. There are inefficiencies.
Yeah, exactly.
People die on stretcher while going to emergency. They don't improve that. And the politicians who are running for mayor today, they also don't talk about the systemic problems.
Yeah.
They're talking about future.
Yeah.
Why are you not commenting on what you did? What is happening now?
Yeah.
There are a lot of system efficiencies we can achieve. My solution will give $5-10 billion to TTC, transportation. You can improve it in 1 year.
Yeah.
You can start constructing bloody 100,000 houses in first year if we get our budget share. And I think Toronto is the largest city. We have 40% Ontario's population.
Yeah.
And we should be given respect. And the movement must start now to demand our share. We should not ask them for 1 billion, 500 million shortfall. No, we should be given our share. We should be given our status of national economic capital, and we should be allowed to look after ourselves. We don't want to have anything to do with metro links and all those things. We are capable. If we have our own money,
Yeah.
we will make our own infrastructure. Why should we go to metro links and get into further bureaucracy? That's what I'm saying.
I know. Actually, if the career politicians, right, they always talk about this, the crisis. The more crisis they talk, the more money they get. The more taxes they want, because they have no ability to produce anything. So what they do is talk, and then you give more money. I say there is a crisis here, give me the money, right? There's a safety issue there, give me the money. Everybody, all the politician is asking for money. So you don't want too much politician like this.
Okay, so we shouldn't extend the video. So can you give closing thoughts so that on your
My closing, talk is, say Toronto needs executives, not career
politician?
politicians. That's
Oh.
my point.
Okay, so I, on behalf of Direct Democracy TV, welcome Mr. Tang's ideas. It was a good discourse. We'll invite him again. And I think Direct Democracy, our idea is, me running as mayor, I wanted national capital, economic capital status to City of Toronto, almost at par with other provinces, because it's the most important city in Canada. It is the economic and commercial engine of Canada.
Yeah.
If there is no Toronto, there is no Canada. So I would be fighting for that. I encourage all Torontonians to rise up and demand their share from the budget, federal budget. And because we contribute almost 15 to 20% of Canada's budget, we should get at least one third of that back. And once we have that, we will be able to look after all our people here in Toronto: housing, infrastructure, homelessness, safety, everything. We will not have to go to province every time for shortfall. Imagine from today's 12 to 13 billion dollars, we'll have 40 billion dollars. $40 billion, we can do wonders, make Toronto a paradise, a real presentable city to rest of the world. Thank you for watching Direct Democracy TV. And once again, Mr. Tang, you're welcome. Whenever you drop in, we'll do further discourse.
Good.
So today's topic was the finance, so it was well done.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah. Let's see how this works.